Hello there, all. This is K-Rod here, back with the Cyber Sector Initiative Zone. I'm back at it with more CompTia content to discuss about some CompTia labs to get done. I'm going to be making some videos to chomp down most of these labs that I'm going to get done for you guys. So let's get right to it. We have some good content to break down and yeah, let's start. But before I do that, be sure to hit the like button, do what you got to do. And yeah, we will get right to work. But thank you guys for watching this video. I will be starting this lab right now. This lab that we're doing right now is a CompTia Security Plus lab that involves with finding open service ports. For this particular lab, we are going to be working with some various means of like a software to find certain ports within a particular network, and it's going to be pretty interesting. I did this lab before while preparing for the CompTIA Security Plus exam, but I mean, as far as like this particular lab to prepare to prepare to study for the Security Plus, this is something that was very useful heading into the exam. It wasn't like a one-to-one match, but it was something in which where you could see everything based out of what you needed to do. But once this lab loads up, I'm gonna pause the video and I'll be right back. So be sure to hang on tight. I will be right back. So I'm gonna pause it and I'll see you right back once everything's loaded up to start up the lab. All right, just hang tight. Okay, I am back. So I got the lab sitting right here. Let's get right to it as I will open this lab up for you guys. And here we go. So we have the lab right here. This is what we're working with. This lab is going to be focusing on a particular scenario with a particular company that you're going to be working with as a security analyst team member. With the scenario, as a security team member of Structurality Incorporated, you are working to improve your organization's security stance. You are currently tasked with performing asset discovery and finding open service ports. Open service ports are a threat vector. If discovered, an open service port is a target for attack. Adversaries may be able to gain access to and control over systems through open ser- open service ports. I'm sorry. By evaluating the status of ports on systems, especially internet exposed systems, you can work to reduce the attack surface by closing unnecessary ports. In this lab, you will use a port scanner to detect and open ports, enumerate service identities, identify the operating system of targets. First, you will evaluate a border firewall from an outside location. Next, you will analyze the scan results from the guest network. Finally, you will scrutinize the scan results of a server access from the client network. So basically, what you are doing is simply protecting the security structure of a company to not be exposed to a cybersecurity attack. For this particular common scenario is probably due to the fact that certain companies that probably leave their security systems wide open for attackers to see that vulnerability, as mentioned in the scenario description, can give cyber threat, threat hackers or basically any high level criminal, the ability to take advantage of those I would say unattended open service ports that will give them the ability to crack into the security network. And then once they're in, they're able to do whatever evil biddings that they want to do. Anything is possible within the realm of like what people would like to do as a threat actor, in terms of with the cyber threat hacking. But I think in terms of this particular scenario, this is more of like a broad term of like what would happen in this particular scenario. And yes, there could be some common leading factors that could be a part of it, but every big time cyber hacker or any high level criminal that has that knowledge to know where these things are. This is a red flag for many threat vectors and attack surfaces to be left wide open for high level criminals to take advantage of this and to hunt information down of their targets to go after high level organizations or high level businesses, depending on what they are most likely aiming for. But this is very serious business, and it's like it's like a really big deal. But for this particular scenario, we're going to be playing this particular role to fight against this because this is something that probably does happen on a day-to-day basis. But this will be very interesting, and I'm definitely going to show you guys what this lab will show you in terms of what you will possibly be doing in a particular real world base scenario. So yeah, let's get right to it. I did this before, and I think this is going to be pretty easy for me as I did it before. So as you come to this login screen in Kali Linux, you have to put in your username and password. Once you come into this login screen, what you will be doing is you will type in the word root. This will be your username. Once you do this, just press like your tab button on your keyboard and carefully type in the password. It's capital P, lowercase a, two $ symbols. You could just hold like your shift button and then put those symbols in. And then after that, you put in lowercase w, and then you put the number 0, and then RD. Yep. So, yeah, sorry about that. This will probably be running a little bit slow for me, but it's probably just due to the buffering because sometimes these servers are not effective. But as I put that in, I managed to get logged in. So now what we do from here, we have to open up the terminal window, which is right here on your Linux desktop. This is your terminal emulator. Just left click that on your mouse. And then once you get that, you should have everything loaded up. So once you're in, we have to put in this code right here, mmap 203, and then all this other coding functions into it. What this will do is that this is going to use the synchronize scan method to identify services on your open ports within the operating system. But on top of that, the operating system is going to disable host discovery. Therefore, once the scan is over, it's going to save the test results to a file. And then once that is complete, we will be moving on to the next phase of trying to look at our particular data of what we need to see for the potential threat attacks that could be vulnerable on the security framework. So let's put that code right in. We're going to type in mmap. This is all going to be lowercase. Well, not for the most part. Just for this part, but for these numbers that you see right here, just be careful of how you type them. Make sure that you put your decimal points to put the dots in between for the IP addresses. But once you get up to these capitalized variable functions, just be careful as you type them in. Make sure that you press the dash button, and then once you get closer to this point, just be sure to carefully type this in. But I'm gonna just try to make this easier for you guys and show you how to properly type this. So after you type in mmap, if that's can load, all right, all right, here we go. You're gonna type in 203.0.113.1 and then space, press the dash button, and then hold shift and press F. That's gonna capitalize, that's gonna capitalize your letter, and then you'll be able to have the dash F function. All these functions play a role into what you're doing for the scan. So this scan is going to going to run off of the executed commands that you put into it. So once you do that, you have to put that next symbol called the lowercase s and then capitalize S. And then once you do that, you have to do this command symbol right here, or command text, a text encoding symbol. Um, I forgot what exactly all the all these coding parameters mean, but um, in terms of how they function for this particular scan, we are trying to find the data using the synchronous scan method to understand what services on the open ports that we are finding are to be vulnerable. And then once we find that, then we'll be able to document everything a lot easier, because this scan is going to give us all the information that we need to see. So once we reach that goal, we are going to be a lot closer to where we need to be. So after we do the dash SS, the dash SV, the dash O, make sure that you capitalize that O, because sometimes people get a little bit confused thinking that's a zero. That's a capital O. Usually zeros can also be a little bit confusing too, but make sure when you are typing to go through your trial and error to make sure that you're looking at the proper wording of like what's being written. So once we have that, we do lowercase o and then capital N, and then once we do that, you just type in borders dash scan dot mmap. And then once that's done, you just press enter, and there we go. This will now start the nmap process to find all the particular open ports that will be potentially shown on this particular network testing, like protocol. So once we have this, this is going to give you everything that you need to see. So this is basically going to show you all of your information about your IP addresses, any particular networking changes of like what is shown out of what the data. As you can see right here, it's already complete, but you can see that it shows right here, warning, OSS scan results may be unreliable because we cannot find at least one open and one closed port. So this is giving us like basically like the rundown of like, yes, the mmap is trying to perform the operation of like what was potentially found, which is not like it's not always consistent. So like you always have to be a little bit careful with putting in like your data. So once you put in that information for the mmap scan, that mmap scan is only going to go off of like what the executed coding parameters were put in for the mmap scan, and it'll show you right here if you ever want to take a look at this. If you guys are for anybody that's using CompTia, learning labs, always take a look at these particular explanations of what these commands mean. But for this particular scenario, the F parameter sets a scan only to test the top 100 popular ports. The SS parameter sets a scan type to the synchronized scan. This is also the default scan type. The synchronized scan is the most reliable scan option as it simulates the initial communication attempt from a valid client while not completing the establishment of a full session. Therefore, the synchronized scan has the best chance of determining the open state of TCP ports. And then right here, the rest of these scans, as I mentioned, the SV parameter performs a version scan, which attempts to elicit the identity of services on open ports. The dash O parameter attempts the identity. Yeah, yeah, like it attempts to identify the operating system, and then the PN parameter disables host discovery and assumes all IPs are actively in use. And then the dash ON parameter saves the output of the mmap to the specified file name in addition to the screen display of the same. So, yeah, that's pretty good. What we see right here with our mmap being completed, it shows right here one IP address, one host up scanned in 13.14 seconds. So basically, it only got a little bit of data based out of what we needed to see. So once we have that, we're basically set to where we need to be. But now we need to see more data. So what we need to do is that we need to run the grep command, as you can see right here. So I'm going to type in grep. Hold on. Type in grep open space. Always be sure to space after you put in like a command word line. So once you put in like a certain string, make sure that you put like your spaces in. Unless if you don't need a space and you need to put certain words together to run the command, make sure that you're just typing it correctly, because sometimes people like to be a little bit confusing with how they put in certain commands. So they don't always take a look at that, therefore making it a little bit harder to understand. So once we do that, you press enter. This is going to run our command. So mine's going to be a little bit slow because sometimes these particular how should I say these particular frameworks don't always work effectively. So yeah, sometimes sometimes like these labs are not always effective, so you gotta kind of wait a little bit longer than expected. So once we did that, it now gave us something. It gave us like it gave us 25 slash TCP open SMTP postfix SMT TPD. It says warning, OS scan results may be unreliable because we cannot find at least one open. Okay, so basically that didn't really give us anything, but let's see what port, like it says over here, what ports are discovered as being open on this target. So I'm going to assume for this particular scenario, I'm going to assume it was port 25. And hold on, let me try to like put this in again, cuz sometimes this can be a little bit janky, cuz like I said, like anytime that you do CompTia labs, they don't always give you the right information in terms of like putting in something correctly, and then sometimes you have to like rerun it. So it can sometimes give you a little bit of confusion. But my apologies. Hold on, let me pause the video, and then I'm gonna wait for this. I'm gonna wait for let the slow loading to finish. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. So I managed to get that done, and I also managed to get the question complete. For this answer, for this question, you have to click on number 25. This was the only ports that were ever to be discovered after the scan was to be complete. So this is going to be like your port that we managed to find after running the grep command. So after we have that done, we have to go on to the next step, and we have to enter this command called the grep os border line. It's called the grep os, yeah, grep space os border. Hold on, border dash scan dot mmap. Once that is done, that will give us our operating system of what we need. Of what we need for the particular information. It says, like it's saying, blah blah blah. Let the scan results maybe unreliable because we could not find anything. So it seems like our operating system is FreeBSD, so I'm probably going to go with that because that's what the scan shows. As you can see here, it says right here, aggressive OS guesses, free BSD 11.2 release at 92%. So that's most likely going to be our operating system. Let's put that in and see what we get. Yep, we got that correct. So now that we have that, we have to leave this terminal window and go to the next exercise. So now that we have that, we are going to move on to the next phase of this particular task. So I'm going to close this out, and then we're going to go on to the next task. So hold on. Let me go to the next task. It says right here we have to select the resources tab in the lab environment. Um, yeah, just sometimes kind of like wait to be a little bit patient for sometimes like uh like I'm sorry, like sometimes whenever you're using the VMs with CompTia, their VM resources are not really effective. So if you're ever having some like buffering issues with like your software, it can be a little bit janky depending on how you depending on like how much like data is being pulled. But uh, for me personally, like I just kind of like wait it out and just be patient. So, but if you kind of like need to like I guess like if you want to like basically quote unquote like reconnect it, you can like click on like your little like lightning bolt symbol here, and then you can go to power, and well, don't reboot the machine. What you could do is click right here. I apologize. Click on your computer symbol right here, and then you could always click on reconnect. Sometimes that works. I could like click on it like right now, and then it's going to like basically repopulate everything to to basically speed up like the buffering. So now that we're here, we have to go to resources. We have to go in the area in Cali, and we have to pull down the drop list under Ethernet 0, and we have to select guess. So this is what we're gonna do. Once you're here, go to resources, and then click on ETH0. That's your Ethernet connection. We have to switch it to what do we need to switch it to? We need to switch it to VGuest. So that's gonna be our new, I guess like virtual. This is gonna be like our new like VPN like type of server that we need to connect to. So that's going to like switch it out to use like something different to configure the I guess like the Ethernet connection or the internet connection. So once we do that, we're going to switch it to VGuest. That's going to be like I guess like the new networking client that we connected to. Now that we have that, we have to select the instructions tab. Okay, so like once we have that, okay, we have to select on instructions. Yep, and then follow the lab. Yeah, let the lab task. Once we're here, I'm sorry. Please forgive me with like the slow terminal loading because sometimes these virtual machines are not effective. But if you're able to control your mouse effectively, be sure to give it some time and click on terminal. I'm gonna try clicking on it if I can. I don't think I can, so I'm gonna have to reconnect it. Okay, I apologize. Yeah, this is definitely not a good day today. I apologize for anybody watching. But when you have full control, make sure that you can get your cursor right here to Terminal Emulator. Just click it once, left click it. Once you have that, we have to enter this command here, IPASETH0. This is going to be our command that we have to put in, and just give it some time. If you get like the kind of like the white box buffering and all that, sometimes Kali Linux virtual machines on CompTia websites for learning portals are not good. So um, if you have to wait it out, just give it some time so therefore the computer can kind of process it. So once we get into that, you put your command in IPAS, IP space A space S ETH0. Once you have that, this is going to give you your, I guess like I think this is like your broadcasting. Oh, actually, it says it right here. This is going to display the IP configuration information just the ETH, yeah, zero interface. So this is just going to give you the display information of your interface. So once we do that, oh, okay. Actually, yeah, I know exactly what I needed to do. Um, I'm already connected to the VGuest network, but it should give me like what I need. Hold on, let me run that again because that was a little bit weird. We should do IP A space. Is that S? I think that's a S. So I'm gonna space that out, and then I'm gonna do ETH0, and then we should have that. So yeah, that should give us the answer. Okay, so hold on, give me 1 second. I'm gonna pause this, and then I'm gonna find the answer right here. Oh, actually, I know exactly what I did wrong. I actually missed a step for you guys. My apologies. So what you have to do is that you have to go to DH client. Yeah, you have to type this in first. So type in DH client space minus R, and then do two, like do two symbols of and symbols, and then you space it, and then you do DH client. Yeah, so that's what I actually did wrong. So you have to type this in first. This is your DH client right here. Once you type that in, then you will be set for the next step. Press enter, and then once we do that, then we're gonna do the same command, IP space A space S ETH0. Press enter, and there we go. So now we should be connected. Okay, we gotta wait. Yeah, we should be good to go. Um, Sometimes this is like a little bit janky. Like I said, you have to be like really precise with like with how you put certain words in, because if you miss like a particular step, that's what's going to hold you back. But like I said, also like what I don't like about CompTia VMs is that when you're trying to score for your particular task to get done, the system doesn't really, yeah, like I said, like the system doesn't really help you out. So yeah, it's giving me this weird error. It says unable to connect. Okay, so yeah, that's really weird because that shouldn't be the case. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm gonna pause it and then I'm gonna find the answer. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I managed to find the issue. So what you have to do before you run anything, make sure before you run the coding command to put all this into Kali Linux, make sure that you kind of tweak by going into here into your ETH0 host, and then make sure that you click on vguess, because sometimes that the system doesn't really read it. So like if you ever have that particular issue saying that there wasn't like a route to any hosts, make sure that you kind of like go from here and then click on not connected. Do that and basically switch it right back to vguess. So I managed to get that fixed for you guys, and I was able to get like a green score check mark off of it. So that's what I managed to have wrong for that particular issue. Well, I wouldn't say it was like my fault, but like I said, CompTia likes to be a little bit janky with their software, so you have to kind of like tweak it um, in order to kind of get that credit for you to pass through it. So for those of you that were a little bit confused out of that, I just wanted to let you guys know I was able to get that fixed by tweaking that out, and I was able to get the answer. So yeah, let's get rid of. Let's go ahead and finish the rest of this because we are pretty much close to being done. So right here we have to put in this mmap command in. So after we had finished finding this particular code to put in for our command configuration to display the IP address configuration for the quote unquote Ethernet connection, we now have to run the mmap command in order to find more data. So this is going to scan everything based off of what the parameters that we put in for it. So we're going to do mmap. This is going to be a whole different IP address, not the same one that we did last time for the 203. This is going to be 192.168. Oh, yep. Like I said, you have to be a little bit careful when you type this in because the VM is not really effective with responding to key. Well, like basically CompTia VMs are not really effective with responding to your keywords that you type in, or basically like your keyboard commands. So sometimes it can be a little bit laggy when you're trying to put certain numbers or words in. So always be mindful whenever like you do that. Just be sure to like wait for the system to kind of take a few words and then kind of finish up. So once we do that, you have to put in 192.168.16.254 space dash f space dash lowercase s, and then capitalize your s using the shift button to hold it down, and then you space it, and then you do dash lowercase s, and then capital V, and then dash capitalize O. So do that, and then after that you do minus O, capitalize the N, and then sadly like you kind of have to like scroll this all the way down, because the one thing I don't like about these particular labs is that you can't copy and paste it compared to, like, let's just say let the Google cybersecurity uh like a I think it's like the cybersecurity professional certificate program, right? You're able to do that, but for certain cases with this particular lab, like you're not able to. I do know CompTia does have certain labs where I do remember in the past when I made videos for this channel that I was able to copy and paste code onto the particular I guess like the terminals that I was particularly that I was like doing in past videos. But in certain cases, sadly, like you have to like manually type it in. So once we do that, we have to run this. So while that is running, after you typed it in correctly, this is going to take some time, and that's going to start the mmap process. Once this is done, we have to use the grep command once again in order to get our particular answer. This shouldn't take take long, but sometimes with virtual machines they don't go all the way through. So right now it's starting the mmap process and it's telling you about the process of how much progress has been done. It's about 20% done. So this is probably going to take some time. So let me pause it and then I'll be right. Okay, we are done. So now that we have this done, like you see like a whole bunch of information here. So what we need to see in this particular details is we need to find the answer to this of what we need to see. So we need to run the grep command in order to find more details with all this information that just got generated. So we're gonna type in the grep space open space guest and then dash scan mmap. So this is going to basically let the grep command is going to grab the it's going to gain the information that we need to find to dig in deeper for what we need to find for the scan results to find like certain specific information that is more how should I say it's more precise and it's more concrete for what we're trying to search for. So now that we do that, we press enter. The grep command will now start its process. So now that we have this, now we have all the information that we need to see. So it says right here with the question, what is the name of the service found on several open ports? Enter the exact name in the text box below. So what we see right here could be OPN sense. So this could possibly be our particular service that could be the threat. So I'm going to put this in, and this should be our answer. OPN sense. All right, we got that. There we go. So basically, this tiny little note here says that the service detected on ports 80, 443, 8000 is the firewall. These ports can be used to access the firewall's management interface. It is not a secure deployment if a guest network member can access the management interface of the company firewall. These ports should be closed on the guest network. Keep in mind, some ports should remain to support valid communications such as DNS port for yep DNS port 53, web port that being port 80 and port 443 to go to the internet, and then your email ports that being 25 465 587. That's for like your SMTP, like if you want to use like any particular emails, Gmail, Microsoft Outlook, or basically Hotmail per se. I still call it Hotmail, so I'm a very good old person. So I'm not that old, but that's just my old generation per se, knowing Hotmail. There's other email types that being POP3 for your ports 995 and then 110, and then you have your IMAP ports for 143 and 993. So now we have to go to this next stage of the questions. We have this question here that we have to basically run the grep command to find the answer to this. So once we do this, we have to put in grep space os capital Os space guest dash scan dot mmap. Once we do that, that's going to show us our operating system that was discovered for the target. So like it shows you right here. This is what the operating system was, and I guess it was apparently FreeBSD. I've never heard of this particular software before, other than I guess like the Unix software. So I'm not really too sure per se of how accurate that really was, but yeah, that's going to be very interesting to see how that plays like a role into this. But yeah, FreeBSD is our answer. That should be the answer. There we go. So now that we have that, we have to go to a different task. We have to leave this terminal, and now that we're done with this, we have to close this out and go to the next exercise. So now that we're here, we have to select on the resources tab, and then we have to basically collect. Yep, we basically have to switch our host to VLAN clients. So we have to go right here, go to your Ethernet 0 host, and then we have to change pretty much the host connection to VLAN clients. Once you do that, you press instructions back again, and here we go. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to do something completely different, but it's going to probably all connect with everything that you need to do. So once you do that, we have to go into this command here, dh client space r. Uh, if you want to make this easier, just press on your little arrow and just click on the right arrow. That's just going to auto, type it right into the terminal. So the Kali Linux terminal will just automatically eat it, and then you'll be able to just run the command right there. So once you do that, it has like that little statement saying that it killed the old client process. Most likely, that's probably killing like an old connection and starting like a brand new one. Once you do that, you type in IP space A space S and then your Ethernet 0 host. So that's going to be your connection. Once you have that, that's going to display your IP configuration, and we should be able to score here. I hope this works, please. But by the IT elder gods from Mortal Kombat. Oh man, this is gonna be fun. Um, yeah, I don't like how certain things operate with this, but this is yep. Like I said, it's gonna do that. So hold on, give me 1 second. I'm gonna pause it and I'm gonna try to troubleshoot this, and I'm going to probably say about the same thing like I did say from last time of how I fix this. Hold on, give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. So basically, back to what I originally had said. What you have to do in this particular scenario, if you're ever stuck with this, be sure to run your ifconfig command. So what you do right here is that what I initially had done, I basically typed it in correctly to get everything fixed. What this command does, the dh client dash r and symbols space DH client, that's going to reset the connection. So that's going to release all previously assigned IP addresses from the internet subnet, and that's going to give you a brand new IP address. And then once we run that secondary command, the IPAS, yeah, like the A space S ETH0 command, that's going to display all the information for our new IP address that we had basically gave our VM computer a new IP address for. So that virtual machine computer was supposed to give us a brand new IP address, but for this particular scenario, it was being janky. Oh, like I'm sorry, it was being very broken and janky. So sometimes you have to like basically play around with it, but once you start anything brand new with any new IP address or any new host, just make sure once you go here, make sure that you switch it to the right client, and then once you do that, like if that doesn't work, kind of like go back and forth to try to switch it from not connected back to VLAN clients or any other host server that you use, and then if it does work after you run those commands, just be sure that you run your if config. So therefore, the previous IP address was already eliminated, and a brand new IP address took over in order to get it fixed. So now that we have that done, we're going to run our nmat command that we need to get finished because I want to get this done for you guys and show you guys the way to success. So now that we have that, we are going to type an nmat space 10.1.16.2 space dash f, and then we're going to do lowercase s capital S space lowercase s capital V space dash 0 dash lowercase o capital N, and then server. This is going to be our server scan. So we're basically going to run a server scan on the nmap. That's what's going to run everything. This is going to give us our results, but we still have to run the grep command. Once we do that, we should have our data given to us very shortly. I'm going to pause the video. I don't want to hold you guys up with this, so give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Hello, I am back. All right, so now that this is over, we have to run the grep command. This should be our next phase of where we need to be to find more information. So we're going to type in grep space open space and then server dash scan dot mmap. This is going to get our information a lot deeper for the open port results to display what we need to see. So now that we have this, we should see everything that we need to see. This should give us all the open discovered ports that we need to see for our particular scenario. So it says right here what services are discovered to be accessible over open ports on this target. Based out of what I'm seeing, I want to say it's SMTP. We have HTTP. We have MSRCP, and then we have let's see. Oh yeah, this is all open because like right here it says like all these ports are just wide open. But for this particular answer, it's giving us some of the answers. So not entirely everything is shown here on the list. So we just have to go down and find what we need to see. So I'm going to find these answers for you guys, and we should be good to go because we're doing really good here. So let's see. We have HTTP, SMTP. I don't see IMAP. Yep, I actually do. Sorry. Yeah, sometimes you have to read because some of these words are like super lowercase, so you have to be a little bit careful. We have Mount D, so that's also another one. Do we have NTP? No, we don't have NTP. We don't have FTP. So those ones are most likely closed. Do we have Microsoft DS? Yes, we do. We do have that. Do we have RDP? That's remote desktop. Yeah, desktop protocol. Yeah, RDP. Yeah, yeah. My CompTia Security Plus is still ingrained to my mindset. And for those of you that don't know what I just did recently, I had recently taken my CompTia Security Plus exam, and I was legit like I'm not lying. I was at least 34 points away from passing that exam, and my heart just went rock bottom. But all the hard work that I put in to study like 8 hours a day for the CompTIA exam, along with like reviewing at least like 150 to 300 questions a day, like that was good off of my first try, and I was just surprised. And I'm just happy where where my development is at, and me helping you guys out to like keep boosting like my skills. Like it's good and it's very rewarding to like keep getting better with CompTIA content, but your mind is also growing because you're turning into a whole different person when you start ingraining, the information a lot deeper to upscale, like basically like your skill level. So now that we have that, this should give us all the right answers. There we go. We have successfully answered all the questions. So these were basically all the open ports that were shown. But for this particular question, it was only giving us some of the open ports. It wasn't giving everything, but we just had to answer this particular question of like what was discovered on the particular on the particular I guess question for for this particular instance for the terminal. So now that we have that, we have to move on to the next stage. We have to go into grep. Yeah, we have to type in the grep command, grep os space server. Yep, server space. Yep. Yeah. After we type in server, you type in dash, and then you put scan dot mmap. So once we have that, that should give us our information for the operating system. So it says right here, the Windows Server 2016 OS had reached its EOL. That meaning it has reached its end of life, where it is no longer supported. So that means that the development is no longer supported, but it will somehow receive some continuous updates through January 12th of 2027. So that should be the final date of how much life support updates are to be supported. So now that we're done with that, we have to answer a few more questions. So this is going to be a little bit tricky, but I am pretty sure I could possibly get these rights. Yeah, these questions right. I have done it before, but it's a little bit of a challenge. So yeah, let's get right to it. Let's answer these questions. What is a threat vector for number one? So I want to say the threat vector, it has to be a pathway that can support an intrusion attempt. There we go. We were right. Yes. Number one, we are set to go. So, for those of you that want to know the answer to this, a threat vector is always a pathway that could support an intrusion attempt. For any particular like cyber hacker or any criminal in general, that's the open door of any potential opportunity that a criminal sees to oversee the opportunity to take advantage of it. And, this is common within real life too, because anybody that goes out of their way to do anything out of that level, it would make sense to have a threat vector that has a pathway to show to the criminal, okay, if I want to rob a bank tomorrow, I have a threat vector in front of me to see what are my opportunities if I want to sneak in from the back and I could just do it quiet, or come in loud and then I start robbing people with whatever type of coercion that you use. But that's how it is in terms of what the eyes of within cybersecurity. And I would even say physical, like, physical security within the tech field at all, because that does make perfect sense. Because if you don't understand the opportunities of what a criminal has within a threat vector, you will leave yourself wide open to those open vulnerabilities where somebody will take advantage of you. So I think that makes perfect sense. So the next question is, what is an attack surface? An attack surface most likely has to be, let's see, the listing of reports on a system. No. The services running of a background of a server. No. Number three, the collection of exposed vulnerabilities. That does make sense. Number four, the outer shell of a server. I'm gonna go with number three. Let's see if we're right. Yes we are. We are right. Okay, so now that we're done with that, we have question three. Yeah, like we pretty much have like three more questions, but I'm gonna speed run through this. So, yep, let's get this done. What mmap parameter option performs a scan which displays service identification? I believe I know this answer, but I'm gonna go with this one, and let's see if I'm right. Let's do the dash SV. Yes, we are right. So always be sure to remember your parameters. Sometimes within the CompTia exam, you might be tested on this, but if you ever see this, or if you have to do a performance based question on this, which I will say, this is not a 1-to-1 match, but these parameters are very important to know on the exam, because if you don't understand these parameters, it's going to haunt you in the CompTia Security Plus exam. So I just want to put that out there for anybody having to listen in, because that is something that had, you know, well, it didn't affect me, but I had to understand those parameters as I was like looking over questions really deeply within within the Security Plus exam. Okay, so number four is, where can threats originate? This is going to be all of the above, and I am totally right on that. Yes, yes, sir, I am. So, threats can come anywhere. They can come internally, they can come externally, they could come from a third party software, and I would even say a third party actor, because you never know if somebody is watching you, and somebody could very well use any means of, how should I say, aggressive behavior in order to take something away from you without knowing, and that could very well happen. Anything where a threat can originate from can be the biggest risk to very well affect your life, but on top of that, it can affect any personal assets that the threat actor wants to take advantage of and to use it for their own criminal gain. And I think that's very important, because not a lot of people understand that within the laws of well, basically within the laws of within like the laws of, how should I say, like the laws of ethics, but also within the laws of understanding what the human compound element of understanding like the laws of nature of like what is considered to be a threat or not a threat, because sometimes people use that instinctual behavior to have a false positive bias to not think that something is not to be a threat. But when it is a threat and you don't see it, then you're left basically unguarded, to be left very exposed and very vulnerable to very high level threat actors that can take advantage of those particular weak targets in order to use that for their own massive criminal gain. Okay, so number 5, let's get right to it. We are almost done. The ballpark is here. Yes. All right. Last question. What are two primary response options to the discovery of an open port hosting an insecure service? Okay, so this is a little bit tricky, but I think I know this answer. What are two primary response options to the discovery of an open port hosting and a insecure service? Let's try. Let's see. Oh yeah. I think I know this one. You have to close the exposed port. You have to apply updates to the OS, and I would configure service encryption. And let's try this one. Okay, no, that's not it. So I'm gonna try to take something off. This is gonna be a little bit tricky. I'm going to say this is gonna be the answer. Actually, no. Let me try just both of them. Okay, that's not going to work. So, give me 1 second. I'm going to get that answer and then I'll explain it. Hold on. Okay, I managed to get the correct answer for this. So, what you have to do here is you have to check off the close the exposed port, and you have to configure service encryption. That's what I ended up forgetting with this particular answer, because I actually got confused with this the first time around, but I managed to rejoice my memory and I was able to get this answer correct. So, well, get this question correct. So, yeah, basically the reasoning behind this is that in order to uh, use these two responses in response to a open port hosting it a insecure service, closing the exposed port is very that is very effective. That will very well get rid of part of the problem up against the um like yeah, like up against the exposed open port that has the insecure service that could pose a massive like a security threat to the network. And then on top of that, configuring service encryption is very important, because if you don't have that, then the encryption is going to be very exposed to any cyber threat actors that will see that to their own advantages to crack right into it, and then they'll be able to uh, they'll be able to infiltrate right into the code, and then they'll be able to hack right into it. So yeah, that is very effective in order to go against this particular issue of the open port. So that should be it. So now that we're done, we should be set to go. We're going to check these off and then we're going to submit it, and we should be set to go. And I believe we are perfect with, I think, a 5 out of 5, or yep. Okay, yeah. Yep. We have a pure 100%, 12 out of 12, depending on how many tasks that it takes. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I wanted to give you guys this particular lab. I have a whole bunch of other labs that I want to get done for you guys. I am going to do all 37 of these labs. Well, it's technically 36, but uh, well, minus at the challenge lab, it's at least 35. But these labs should not take any long for me, because like once you start getting good with them, you'll be able to get them done pretty quickly. So yeah, I pretty much just showed you right here. Like this is exactly what I had done, but I will try to grind this out for you guys, because I really want to help you guys out for those of you that are struggling with these labs. But they are very straightforward. You just have to read. Sadly, it's not like the Google cybersecurity certificate program on Coursera, where you could actually just copy and paste up the code and actually do it. So no, you actually have to like work your butt off and get it done. So but either way, this is very fun. I really enjoy doing this, and I hope that you guys be sure to share these videos. Do what you have to do, and thank you very much for you guys watching this particular video. This is the Cyber Sector Initiative Zone signing out, aka K-Rod. Thank you guys for watching. I have more content. Don't run away. Everything is coming very soon. I've just been grinding and I'm trying to get these videos done for you guys. So thank you very much. Have a great day. And I have I definitely have more videos coming out to get these labs done for you guys. So yeah, thank you very much, and I will see you guys later. Bye.